Hey, third grade, let's go ahead and talk about your assignment today. You are going to be working on Math 301 using multiplication to show equal groups as well as repeated addition. So let's go ahead and think about the question, what strategy would you use to solve the equation? And is there a faster way to solve by adding the numbers? So like 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Well, one way we can do this is doing 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 more is 6, plus 2 more is 8. I also know that I can skip count 2, 4, 6, 8, but I know that this is the same thing as also saying that there are four groups of the number 2. So today we're doing multiplication. Let's get ready for math. Dun dun dun. So today we're going to be solving multiplication equations, and we're going to be using equal groups to also show what is repeated addition. So for us, what I want you to do is you are going to kind of pause the video right now, and I want you to try on your whiteboard or a piece of paper, okay? I want you to look at some of the different ways that you can make equal groups using these 12 B's. So how many different equal groups can you make? So go ahead and pause the recording now. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at how many different groups you can make. So one thing that you can probably do is you can do 12 groups of 1. So like, hey, there's only one B here. So I know that I would do 12 groups of the number 1. That's one way to do this. I also know that I can do 2 groups of the number 6. So here is a group of 6. Here is another group of 6. So that's another equal group. So I know I can do 1. I know that I can do 2. I know that we can do 6. We can do 12 because I've already shown there's 12 groups of the number 1. There are 2 groups of the number 6. Can I also do 6 groups of 2? Oh, let's see if I can do that. Oh, hey, I bet I can. If I cut this in half like this. Hey, check that out, third grade. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of the number 2. Well, is there another thing? What about the number 3? Can I try the number 3? Let's check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and we're going to see if I can do that. So, okay. So here's a group of 3. Okay, here's a group of 3. Here's another group of 3. Here's another group of 3. So I know I can also do 3 groups of, I can do 4 groups of 3. But what about 3 groups of 4? Can I do that? Well, let's check that out. I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and let's see if we can do 3 groups of the number 4. Okay, so I'm going to erase. Oh, hey, look at that. Here's a group of 4. Oh, here's a group of 4. And here's a group of 4. Ow! I see that I can do 3 groups of the number 4. That's fantastic. So there are lots of different ways that I can take these 12 B's and group them together. Do they all still show 12 B's? Yeah, it's just different ways to show our 12 B's. So we're going to go ahead and talk about making equal groups today. So when we read a multiplication problem, what we're really seeing is repeated addition. So 2 times 3 is, reading it as a mathematical sentence, is 2 groups of 3. So I know 3 plus 3 is 6, and I also know that 2 groups of 3 is 6. We talked last week about the product being the answer to a multiplication problem, and we put that X for multiply in front of our heart. I also know that the 2 numbers we multiply together is called a factor. So here's one factor, here's another factor. So 3 times 3 is 9, which would make sense because if I have 2 groups of 3 to get 6, 3 groups of 3 means I would just put another group of 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. And I know now I have 9. So that makes sense. An equation is a math statement, but that means that there's an equal sign right there. Right here, this is an expression. There's no equal sign. This is also an expression. There's no equal sign. This is what we call an equation because there's an equal sign. So let's go ahead and try this with some numbers. So this says multiplication monsters. When two numbers are multiplied, the first number tells you how many times you're to add the second number to itself. And the multiplication symbol means groups of. So we would read it as 2 times 3 as 2 groups of 3. So I know that, 2 times 3, here's my expression, but now I have my equal sign, so now it's an equation. Just like we saw in the previous slide, this is like saying 2 groups of 3. And I know 2 groups of 3 is the number 6. Let's take a look at another, okay? So let's fill in the blank to make these statements true. This is saying 3 groups of 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 groups of 5 is what number? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I know 3 groups of 5 is 15 because there are 5 digits on each hand. So 3 5s is equal to the number 15. And 3 groups of the number 5 is also 15. I want you to try this one here with the bananas. We're going to have multiple groups of bananas. Okay, how many groups of bananas are there? There are 5 groups of bananas. What would you get if we added them repeatedly? How would we say this? This is 5 groups of 3. What number is that? And then how would we read this as a multiplication? 5 groups of 3. So I want you to pause the recording and try this. You've got this. And then restart it and you can self-check yourself to see how you did. Here we go. All right. All right, 3rd graders, let's see how we did. I see 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 15. And I know 5 groups of the number 3 is also 15. And I know 5 groups of 3 is also 15. Let's do another. So this says the picture below shows 2 groups of apples. Does the picture show 2 times 3? Why or why not? Well, let's see what the question says. The question says 2 groups of apples. So if there's 2 groups of apples, is this showing 2 groups of 3? Well, here's 1 group of 3. That is not another group of 3. So I know that this is not showing 2 groups of 3 because I'm missing an apple right here. So that is not going to work. How about over here? Caroline, Brian, and Marta share a box of chocolates. They each got the same amount. Circle the chocolates below to show 3 groups of the number 4, then write a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence to represent the picture. So let's go ahead and look at the picture. There's 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 groups of 4. Okay, so that's like saying here's Caroline's, here's Brian's, and here's Marta's. Or this could be Ronan, Skylar, and Summer. Okay, so let's write a repeated addition sentence and a multiplication sentence. Well, let's start right here with how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I can give 1 of the chocolates to Ronan, 1 to Summer, 1 to Skylar. Okay, so I've already used these, so I'm going to cross them off so I don't use them again. then I'm going to give each of them another chocolate. So here's one for Ronan, one for Summer, one for Skylar. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and color these in so I don't use them again. I can give this one to Ronan, this one to Skylar, this one to Summer. So here's 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Okay. Ooh, I think there's enough for everybody to get one more. So here's one, here's one, here's one. All right, so I see I've used all my chocolates. Okay, so if I were to show this as a picture, I have 3 groups of the number 4. But now I need to write an addition sentence and I need to write a multiplication sentence for this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. So if I were to write this as an addition sentence, this is like saying 4 plus 4 plus 4, because I have Ronan's chocolate, Summer's chocolate, and Skylar's chocolate. But I can also say this is saying 3 groups of 4 equals how many? 12. Achoo! Excuse me. Achoo! Excuse me again. Okay, so let's try to match this one on the picture. Okay, so I want you to pause the recording right now and try to match the multiplication sentence that would go with each of these pictures. And then you can restart the recording and check it. Okay, hopefully you did 2 groups of 7, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's a group of 7, here's a group of 7. Then over here, I see 3 groups of 4, just like on the last one. There we go, we got that. Okay, let's try another. Okay, I'd like you to go ahead and try to match this one here. You got this. All right, hopefully you got 4 groups of the number 2 and then 6 groups of the number 3, so 3 groups of 6. All right, I want you to try to draw a picture for this one. You can do this one on your whiteboard. All right, so let's see what you got, gang. If we go back to our previous one, we have 3 groups of 6 right here. 1, 2, 3. So did you get 3 groups of the number 6? That's what it would look like. It would look like 3 groups of 6. All right, let's go ahead and try this one. 3 groups of the number 2. So I know that I would have 2 plus 2 plus 2. So I would have lots of pairs. All right, I want you to try 2 groups of the number 5. Go ahead and pause the recording. Excellent. So I know that 2 groups of 5 is going to give me the number 10. So let's head on into Buzz and let's take a look at our assignment today. We are taking a look right now at 3rd grade math. So we're going to hop into 3rd grade math and let's take a look at your assignment today, 3rd graders. We're going to go into lesson 301 and we're going to talk about multiplying equal groups. So when we go into lesson 301 and we open that folder, number 1, let's review. You have 3 iReady lessons that you need to complete each week. So don't forget to do your 3 iReady lessons. Next, we're going to go into multiply with repeated addition. So you are going to watch the recording right here that I just made for you. And then you're going to go in and you're going to practice making equal groups. When you get to the end, you're going to see that you have a quiz. You got this, my 3rd graders. Goodbye, I love you, and I'll see you soon.